Hi, Andy. Happy Monday. One more week until spring break. Yay! I absolutely loved your video on Thursday. It was so cool to see you singing and talking about Ireland and your hopes and dreams and adventures. And for me, the part that I really loved the most was the singing piece, especially that last song. And after watching a couple of your videos where you sing and play your guitar, it got me thinking about some of the insecurities that I've got in my life because, as you know, I don't really sing in front of people very often. Now, church is a totally different story because, everybody's singing, but I don't like to sing in front of people when it's just me or if it's a very small group of people. And this actually goes all the way back to high school. I don't know if you know this, but when Nicole and I were in middle school, we were both in Jenison Christian's honors choir. And I loved being part of that choir. I loved singing. I loved the kind of tacky dresses that we wore. I loved it all. I thought it was the greatest thing in the entire world. And then I was told that, hey, if you're an honors choir, then you get to be in girls' chorus at Unity when you're a freshman. And that was like a super big deal because girls' chorus is a 10th grade choir. And I was so excited because, and I know you don't know this about me, I actually can't read sheet music, like, at all. And I don't know why I can't do that. It doesn't, when I look at sheet music, my brain just does not compute. After probably a good 5 or 6 years of practice, I was able to read sheet music for the clarinet because that's the instrument that I played in band. But even then, I would look at the notes on the sheet and I wouldn't say, oh, that's a C, or oh, that's a D. I would say, oh, that means that I have to do this with my fingers, or that means I have to do this with my finger, or whatever it was. I, to this day, still cannot read music notes. Anyway, I was so excited because I thought that I had finally faked my way into doing something really awesome. I'm pretty good at hearing something and then being able to sing it, so trust me, whenever we were in honors choir and we were doing solfege or whatever it was, I would listen real close to my neighbor and just do whatever they were doing. And it got me through. And I was super excited about it. But then my freshman schedule came in the mail and I ripped it open. I was so excited. I was like, I'm going to be in choir with Nicole. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. And instead of girls' chorus being listed, it was freshman choir. And I was like, well, that's a mistake. Why did they do that? And so my mom called Unity. And the choir director said, no, that's not a mistake. We can't put her in girls' chorus. And I was like, well, if I can't be in girls' chorus, then I don't want to be in choir at all. Just put me back in band. And I was like, whatever. A music class is a music class. It's fine. And then partway through September, I find out that 2 of the girls from Jenison Christian who were not in honors choir got moved up from the beginners choir into girls' chorus. And I was so upset because they told me that I couldn't be in girls' chorus because it was full, and then they go and they move people up. I was upset. And then I came to the conclusion with, probably terrible logic, that the reason I didn't get to be in the choir I wanted to be in was because I was actually terrible and that I had just been faking it all the way through honors choir, and everybody knew it, and they were all just, letting me be there to be nice. It made me feel like a total imposter, like everybody knew that I was faking it and that I had totally failed in trying to cover up my inadequacies. And now looking at this, 10 years later, like a rational person, I realize that, it's not that people were out to get me or that they didn't want me to be in the choir because they didn't like me. I realized it was probably some sort of clerical mistake. But it still, to this day, scarred me in a way where I feel like I'm not a good singer and where I outright refuse to sing in front of people. Now, of course, I'll do silly little math raps for my students, but singing in my church's praise band is totally out of the question for me because I don't feel like I'm a good enough singer. And this whole story just makes me think about the kind of talents that the media glorifies, whether it's acting or singing abilities or whether it's athletic abilities. If you don't fit in that box, then you aren't, quote unquote, good enough. And these insecurities, I know, are totally, wholly, and completely ridiculous because I am a rational adult and I know that I have value and worth outside of what the media says. but it's still, like, to this day, affects me, and you can tell that with my singing story. And I know that it affects other people too, it's not just me, and I can't imagine what the pressure is like for my students now. I mean, it was bad for me when I was in 7th grade, and now, like, more and more media consumption makes it even worse. It just makes me glad to know that I'm secure in who I am. 5 years ago, when I just started college, I don't think that I would have been as okay with some of this stuff as I am now. Um, but you know, there's other talents in the world, like crocheting, or sewing, or more artistic things, or even cooking. Things that the media doesn't necessarily look at as talents, can still definitely have that positive influence on a person's life. So what do you think, Andy? Has the media or your peer group or the classmates around you ever made you wonder what would it be like if I had the same talents as everyone else? Um, I mean, come on, between you, Nicole, Aaron, and Ethan, I kind of feel like my entire peer group is made up out of like the world's best musicians, and that can be hard for me sometimes. But I'm also really glad that you guys are able to share your gifts with the world, and it makes me so happy and proud of you every time you pull out your guitar on our channel or perform in the Messiah or sing in front of church. And it makes me really happy to see you using your gifts and knowing that I can use mine too, though maybe slightly different gifts in slightly different ways. And maybe I can start overcoming some of those insecurities. I know that after 10 years of not practicing my singing, I've probably lost most of it, but it's something that I would like to get back. I know that when I was in middle school, I was good enough to get into honors choir, so, I mean, of course that was middle school honors choir, but still, there must have been some talent in there. Maybe I'll try to pull it out again. Well, that's all I got for you today, Andy. Love ya. Bye.